the cloud. Good evening. It is December 16th, 2025. Ta-da! What's that? 9 days till Christmas. Thank you, Jesus, for A Course in Miracles and for your mortal life here on earth. Ah, thank you, Buddha, for your teachings. Thank you, Gary Renard, for his books. For Helen Schutman, Bill Thetford for A Course in Miracles, for Holy Spirit bringing Tibetan Buddhism to me. Oh my, so I could understand the Course's text. That maybe always confused me. I'm getting some understanding now. Um, um, oh, it dawned on me while I was getting ready for the meeting. I want to take a moment here, we all just kind of relax and lean back. I want to do a prayer here, a prayer for all the stuff that's going on, the various shootings, whether it's, Australia where they have gun control, and in our country where there isn't gun control, it's just shooting after shooting in schools, professors getting killed, people being killed. And then, oh my, then Rob Reiner and his wife being allegedly killed by their son. Let's send this love and light out to all beings in all realms. And we just kind of relax, let go. And as you relax, your inner light and love, pure love, goes forth to touch the hearts and minds of all beings. Because our group, any Sangha group like this that's practicing what we practice about becoming awake to the clear light nature of our mind, carries an awakening of its light and love that can radiate out and help heal in whatever ways it's needed. Amen. And the topic for my conversation tonight is I'm experiencing having no head, no body, and there's no world. But due to these shootings and murders, I just want to clarify, even though there's no world or no universe, and these were all illusionary images that are fleeting like fireflies, like a lightning bolt. In a second you see that lightning bolt, in a second it's gone. In essence, our lives are like a speck within this billions of years, right? Our lives come, our lives go. But what doesn't change is the essence, the essence of our nature of mind, which is this pure, clear love light, our pure love, unconditional love that God created us, or the sonship created us out of. So in the absolute, there's only the clear light of God's presence and pure love, unconditional love. But in the relative, so in the absolute, nothing matters. But in the relative, everything matters. But by everything, I mean that we're becoming aware of our habitual habits, aware of our thinking mind, that we're thinkaholics, the thinking mind, how we react, how we eat, how we breathe, how we walk, how we relate moment to moment. Because as we practice being in the now, meaning being aware of what we're doing while we're doing it, we're aware the breath in the body's always in the now, but our mind's off somewhere else, off somewhere thinking of the future, the past, or in the present, labeling, naming, and evaluating all the sights, sounds, and appearances. And I'm reading this book from Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche, who's a Dzogchen master, Tibetan Dzogchen master. He describes it that this dual mind is endlessly having this cycle of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. It'll never change. But what changes is we become awakened. Well, we remove obscurations to the awareness of this non-dual awareness of our Christ Buddha nature, of our godly nature that's aware of these thoughts, feelings, sensations, and perceptions and judgments. And we're learning to let them go without attachment and aversion. And we're becoming awake and lucid to when we grab onto a story or a memory, right? And we let it go. And then we come back to the now, and it's a dance. It's a dance between being asleep and attaching to these stories and memories, and then waking up for moments to be aware of this clear light nature of your mind. Then we fall back asleep. The awakening process is where this dance finally starts to fall into the more minutes and moments that you're aware of the now moment of what you're doing while you're doing it. Your mind's no longer in the future. Like, for example, when you're driving, your mind's in the car, your hands are on the steering wheel, looking at the cars, your speed limit, what all's going on, versus thinking about the destination you're going to get to. Then your mind is outside the car. Keep your mind in the car. So we're keeping our mind, our awareness, we're developing, cultivating an awareness that's aware when the mind is off in attachment and aversion. Now, there's three things um, that I read that I want to share that describes this practice that we're doing. This practice, it's 3 stages of awakening. In the first stage, you gain knowledge of Dharma or the truths, like a starving man before a good meal. That's the first stage. You're just taking under, gaining knowledge of the truths. In the second stage, in the middle, you're gaining understanding of the mind, the nature of mind. It's like you're finding a precious jewel. You're gaining understanding of this nature of mind, which is this clear light, openness, spaciousness, skylight nature of mind. And third, in the end, you develop an understanding of non-duality. This last stage, I wasn't in until recently. So we're going to be talking about that. But those are the 3 stages. You're developing, and the last one, you develop understanding of non-duality. And why that's happening to me is I've been practicing, I think it's since December 4th. A tukul means a Tibetan holy enlightened being. Once they die, they get reborn into another body. They get identified that that's this original holy enlightened being taking form again. And they're called a tukul. And this is Urgyen Rinpoche. And here's the quote that I've been practicing since December 4th. No matter what you do, no matter what situation you are in, whether walking, sitting, eating, or lying down, always suspend your attention within the nature of non-dual awareness. That's it. Well, I realized when I wanted to practice that, I had to sit with, well, hey, whoa, I got to take my attention to the nature of non-dual awareness. Well, what the hey is that? Because see, I want you to write that question down and answer it for yourself. What is the nature of non-dual awareness? See, that's your Christ Buddha awareness that's always been here. It is here now, but it's veiled by our obscurations, our judgments that we're a separate self, etc. So in my understanding of the nature of mind, I would go to seeing that sparkling clear light that I saw that time when I looked in the mirror and my two eyes were drawn together into a single eye that went straight through a tunnel to see this clear, sparkling purity. It was clearness that sparkled. And that's when I told you about it. Felt like I saw the promised land. See, that's our home. That's our home. That's where we live. That's our residence. That's our home. That's source. Sparkling, clear nature. So in my mind, I can go and look at that, and then I take my attention and I suspend it there. I rest, meaning I kind of rest there in that clear light. So, see, you want to come up with your own, what you see as the nature of mind. That's why in this email I wrote, I highly recommend a person takes on a guru, one of these holy, enlightened beings that knows how to transmit to each person and transmit actually an image of this clear light nature of mind to them where they see it. They get a glimpse. Then they know what this nature of mind looks like. So, see, then that's when they can call up that appearance and go rest there. Take their attention, and that clear light is non-dual. Suspend your attention within the nature. The nature's the clear light of non-dual awareness. Well, anyway, so how did I get to no head, no body, no world that I experienced on 12/12, Friday, 12/12? In the email I wrote, I looked back at let me see if I can find this, the five the five latest things I've been practicing that really brought this to a head. And see, you don't have to go through years. I'm gonna, you can practice all five of these now. Save yourself 10 years. Well, the first one is Jesus's advanced forgiveness. And that's looking beyond the body, beyond the flesh, to this clear light of spirit that's here. And in Tibetan Buddhism, it's called Treched, seeing through, being through, cutting through these images to see the clear light. And I explain it like I would, and see, it's perfectly okay to visualize these items, but ultimately you will experience them, but you're visualizing them because that's part of the practice. Visualizing purity, seeing through, being through to the clear light. But I would see like the body separate, and there would be like openness. And what you consider openness, see, that's the clear light, that source. It's like cutting a string in two. This string, take scissors, cut it in two. When you cut it in two, you're left with two pieces, but in the middle, there's openness. See, there's just openness. That openness exemplifies the clear light. So that takes me, well, wait, I'm going to come back to this list, but that takes me to this openness and clear light. Here's a quote that Kalu Rinpoche says. It's called the four facets of what I'm calling this openness, this natural awareness. Rigpa, it's called in Tibetan Buddhism, clear light. Four facets of it. First one is so close you can't see it. Now look, I just took a string, pictured a string, and cut it in the middle, and ended up with an open area between the string. So this openness is so close you can't see it. So deep you can't fathom it. So simple you can't believe it. So good you can't accept it. Because this no head where I'm experiencing, when I look, there's no head, there's just clear light. Then I look, there's nobody, just clear light. I look out, there's no things, there's no world, just clear light. Is prior to seeing the clear light, I look out, the world hasn't changed. Nothing's changed. The TV's not changed. My living room's not changed. The shootings haven't changed. The wars haven't changed. The planet warming hasn't changed. But what's changed is my vision. That's why this quote's important. It's so close you don't see it. Nothing changes out here. That's why we're taught to leave it as it is. Now, of course, we don't put the body in harm's way. Somebody's shooting, you go for safety. You know what I'm talking about is in general, you're leaving it as it is, letting these images, thoughts, and feelings come and go, arise on this clear light mind that's creating them. Your Buddha Christ mind is creating this capital A awareness with the Christ Buddha mind. It's creating these images. But it's so close you can't see it. Nothing changes. That's why there's some saying like before awakening, cut wood, chop, chop wood, carry water. And after awakening, chop wood, carry water. Nothing changes except this vision where you're not having dual eyes. These practices of treched, seeing through, being through, cutting through, in moments you're seeing the clear light or thinking about the clear light. And you do that over hundreds, if not thousands, tens of thousands of times, you're building your awareness of this clear light. So the second practice I'm doing that brought this about is I'm using my toolkit that I've talked about, where I become aware I'm stuck in thoughts or feelings or whatever I'm doing. And I practice one or more of these, like breathe, smile, relax. I'll just do that. And when I relax, those thoughts, feelings generally are let go of. They just self-liberate. But if they don't, then you know what I do? Then I lift my gaze up. I lift my gaze up, and take it up. And what that does, it vertically aligns me with this vertical great ray. It aligns my spine, my central channel. It aligns me with the vertical great ray, that upward glance. Or I will flick my eyes right or left. I'm not kidding. These are ways that advanced holy Dzogchen highest masters within Tibetan Buddhism have come up with these tricks. And some of these have come from this holy, I think the fifth Karmapa, really holy person. And then there was a Dalai Lama. Maybe it was the fifth Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama came up with the upward glance and the flicking eyes back and forth. I forget if it's the fourth Karmapa that came up with some of these. And so these holy teachers will say, well, wait a minute, if you're strictly practicing, people say, Dzogchen, you're just letting thoughts and feelings come and go. You're not changing anything. You're not doing anything. And these holy teachers will say, well, if that master, that's the master of the highest Dzogchen teachings, he has to go and chant the 100-syllable Vajra mantra, we can do some of these tips and pointers. I'm just saying, we can practice this. Or I'll say Om Ahum. Om is the crown chakra, Ah is the throat chakra, Hum's the heart chakra. Om Ahum lines up these chakras, lines you up vertical with the great ray in your spine, get you aligned, thoughts liberate. See what else? Breathe in and out, closed eyelids. Just take a breath and go, ah. And if you do that, oh, your shoulders relax, your body relax, your skin relaxes. This inner light that's within you passes through your cells and as one merged with the clear light that's outside, that's continuous. There's no separation between this inner light of all this subtle light body that's within your physical body and the clear light that's everywhere. It's all continuous within all forms, animate or inanimate. The third practice I've been doing is that resulted in this no head, no body, no world is silently saying to myself, if I hear something on TV, like sounds on TV, or I see sights on TV, I'll go, I silently say to myself, there's nothing to see and no one to see it. Nothing to see and no one to see it. While I'm looking at the objects on my TV screen, and I settle down into what the hell does that mean? There's nothing to see, so you kind of let go of those objects, and no one to see it means a separate self. Just practicing that, your unconscious is letting go of this duality of subject and object. You doesn't mean you have to see the clear light. You're just thinking this way. You're practicing this, and you're wondering what the hell does nothing to see and no one seeing it mean? It means they're just this non-dual awareness that isn't going attaching to those objects out there or attaching to this separate body self that seems to be here. It's letting go of subject object duality. And when I hear something, I'll go, nothing to hear and no one hearing it. And then I just pause and be. Nothing to touch when I'm making my bed in the morning, touching the comforter to put it back. Nothing to touch and no one touching it. This all results in me seeing the clear light and thinking about the clear light. So y'all maybe don't see the clear light yet, but you can sure as heck think about the clear light. Next, number 4, wanting to help heal all sentient beings in the six realms of their thoughts of separation from each other, their true nature and source. This is huge because the main demon, the main culprit for this, for suffering and misery, is selfishness. Selfishness, belief in a separate self, me, myself, and I. Not considering anyone else. You might consider maybe your family members, but man, the rest of those people out there. So I have found in the last few years, I just naturally did this practice because I wanted to help all beings wake up from this delusion of separateness from God. And so in meditation, I would just silently call out their names and believe that the enlightened beings were working through me to help these people, right? All the beings, animals, and inanimate objects too. Then it finally went to where there's this, the great ray goes down the central channel, out my navel to circle around my physical heart and go back to source, get re-energized, go back out through my navel to the universe to bring it back in through my heart chakra up to be re-energized and healed, purified from their thoughts of separation. So that circle of purity was happening. And don't you know, today, the circle of purity changed. And see, things change and evolve based on our practice and this letting go of more obscurations that are veiling your true innate Buddha Christ nature, that's unveiling this non-dual awareness where you look out and see everything's united together. It's no longer separate. Seeing the clear light with all the forms all together. But what's changed today is that this, as I was meditating, this great ray spirals, the yin and yang in the great ray spirals, and it comes in down the top of my head through my body, the central channel. And it was doing this, but it was really tightly spiraling. My awareness was being with it, and my awareness went with it. And I noticed my awareness was no longer in my body. It was above my body where the great ray is above my head, coming in from source. And my awareness was about midway up in that tube, up in that great ray above my head, midway, and source is a little more further up. just looking at this, what was going on. And I saw that the great ray was slowly rising. It was rising, and I see later what was doing. It's bringing my dual awareness up the tube to source. It finally arrives up there, not just, where I talk about where the great ray tube, the top of the great ray tube meets source. It went past where those two meet, where like you would see, like Jesus might call it the borderland, with the 1 foot in the earth and 1 foot in heaven. But this great ray, it went up into the clear, pure land. It went into the pure land. And I felt it and saw in my mind, my eyes were closed, like a ray that was up vertical, standing vertical within this primordial ground, this clearness. And so I just rested there. But see what it was doing, what Holy Spirit was doing, was taking my attention, my dual attention, to take it, elevate it, to be in the Pure Land, to see the great land, the great ray is merge right there. I have been stopping the great ray short, right short, just where the Pure Land started. So as a result, this I really feel like this great ray tube really got really opened, and my mind, heart, and body got ascended through it. And then the movement of the circle of purity changed, where when the great ray comes down, it goes through my head, the central channel, out my navel, out to the far reach of the universe, brings everything back. But now it didn't go into my physical heart. It went into what's called an etheric heart mind. Now, I know I'm telling you a lot, but this is a big summary for you to realize there's more to it than your physical heart that contains the love. There's an etheric heart mind. That is your natural Christ Buddha heart mind that's unveiled to you. And so this brought the universe back to this heart mind that's up there in the Pure Land. So the circle got widened to where it was smooth and continuous, up in the Pure Land, down the center, out the navel, and back up to in the Pure Land, heart, mind, and down. One big continuous circle of purity that naturally brings in all your brothers, and the host. And I didn't get this till I was just reading what I put, one of the things I put in my email to send out to you all, where I got quotes out of A Course in Miracles describing what no head, no body, no world kind of means. And I realized what I'm experiencing is a state of grace. This is in chapter 1, section 3, paragraph 7, where Jesus says, as an expression of what you truly are, the miracle places the mind in a state of grace. The mind then naturally welcomes the host within and the stranger without. When you bring in the stranger, he becomes your brother. What's happening now, and has happened maybe for a month, is when I'm meditating and this circle of purity starts, it with the breath, the breath goes out with this great ray light energy. So you can picture your breath goes out, extends out to the end of the universe, brings everything back. You can picture back to your physical heart or your etheric heart mind, which is above your head in the Pure Land. It naturally, when I silently call out people's name, naturally takes them into the circle. I no longer have to put the beings inside the circle. I no longer have to put the countries inside the circle, or put planet Earth in the circle, or the universe in the circle of purity. That's what this is saying. The mind then naturally welcomes the host within. See, it's aware of the source, the clear light within, and the stranger without. And welcomes them, naturally welcomes them within that circle of purity. As a result, this I'm experiencing a stabilization of experiencing this, my attention suspended within non-dual awareness. It happens more easily and naturally, and it's just happens. It just happens. Now let's see what those other. Oh, so since I'm quoting Jesus in chapter 1, section 3, oh, that same paragraph 7. I realize what I'm experiencing could be called the atonement. The atonement. And hell, what does the atonement mean? That's always been befuddling to me. The atonement means because the atonement itself is one, uniting all creations with their creator. The atonement is when all creations are united with their creator. See, that's what this circle purity was doing. It's welcoming the host within and the brothers without to unify them together, all as one. They're not separate anymore. The the atonement. So the atonement itself is one, uniting all creations with their creator. Next was the quote. Let's see what this is. Oh, awareness of reality. So Jesus in A Course in Miracles says reality, the real world. Well, what the heck is that? Well, the reality is this clear light. This clear, unconditional love is so pure, it looks just like clear light. That's God's presence. Let's see what his entire quote was. See, I've got these pages. 2, 1, 1. Well, I can't. Let's see, page 1, page 2. No, I'm not sure. I didn't bring that page, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this is. This is called awareness of reality. Since the miracle aims at restoring the real world, he's talking about. So you can kind of search that, A Course in Miracles searchable website, and you may come up with that. I may find that piece of paper before we go. But I'm seeing the real world. I never knew what the hell that meant in A Course in Miracles. That's this clear light. And that means nothing changes here in the physical world. You're just seeing the clear light is and the forms are not separate. They're integrated together. Okay, we're going to go back to the 5 practices that I've been doing that culminated in no head, no body, no world. The first one was Jesus' advanced forgiveness, or what trechet in Buddhism, seen through, being through, using our toolkit, silently saying to myself when I'm doing something, nothing to see and no one seeing it. Fourth is wanting to help and heal all sentient beings in the 6 realms. So during your meditation or prayer practice, consider bringing in politicians, world leaders, family members you hate, you know, your neighborhood, your state, your city, your country, then bring in other countries and bring in planet Earth. And what I did, I would just visualize that the enlightened beings were working through me to do what healings needed to be done for those people and things. But see, what matters is, see, look what's happening. You're moving away from this thought of selfishness and a separate self to your beingness with everything. And you're wanting to wish other things well. you're, you know, you're, you're wanting to wish everything well, even so-called enemies or strangers. You want to wish them well. And the final thing I was doing was trying to stabilize my awareness of non-dual awareness by repeatedly doing that, saying that Tuko Urgent Rinpoche said about whether you're sitting, walking, eating, lying down, suspend your attention within non-dual awareness. Those five things I've been doing for this last few months. Um, Anger management. Now, I didn't really talk about when the no head, no body started, but I was at the health club practicing suspending my attention within non-dual awareness. When I'd be on a weight machine or on a treadmill, and I looked out, and there was no head. There was no head. I go, that meant I was just seeing the spaciousness, the openness of this pure, unconditional love, clear light. But then when I got home, sitting in my chair, continued practicing, suspending my attention within non dual awareness, then there was no body. And I kept practicing. And then I would look at the TV and think about the universe and saw there's no world. There's Miss Chaz. No world. And again, I want to reiterate in the absolute, nothing matters because it's all illusionary. It's like fireflies flicking light in one moment and gone the next. But in the relative, everything matters. We pay attention as to what we're doing while we're doing it. That's why Jesus has in A Course in Miracles about cultivating trust and patience and all kinds. And the Buddha has the six paramitas where we're reconditioning, deconditioning the mind from selfishness to loving kindness, having equanimity to all, and compassion and empathy. We're deconditioning that selfish heart that's separate from mind to where then it's reuniting with your Christ Buddha heart and your Christ Buddha mind. Your heart opens, your Christ Buddha mind awakens back to its unveiled nature, to a etheric heart mind. Okay, that's one. That's one. Let's see. Two. Oh, breaking out of habitual patterns. Uh, that started in the last few months too. I become aware of how I ate instead of sleepwalking and later thinking, well, I didn't even remember eating. I was walking, I was driving. Hey, I got somewhere. How did I get there? I don't remember getting there. I don't remember driving. You know, how I eat. I covered that. How I walk, how I think, how I react. Because, see, I'm asking myself about these six senses. The mind is the sixth sense that there's sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch. Awake, lucid to what I'm doing while I'm doing it, versus breaking out of habitual habit patterns of doing the same old thing over and over and over again. I saw I was starting to achieve a balance between the dual world to leave it alone as it is and seeing the open skylight nature of mind. And see, it's a dance. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. You'll be awake in the moment one moment and then you're back asleep thinking about the future or past in another moment. You just become aware, let go, let be, and you come back awake in the next moment. It's a dance. And even when you wake up, you're still going to have reactions because you're a immortal spirit within experiencing a human body. And that's why capital A awareness created the dualistic mind to create form. The sonship wanted to experience what it felt for pure love to be within a form. How to what it looked like, it heard like, smelled like, tasted like, touched like. So it created this physical world. But in that dance, there'll be these six sensations are going. I mean, I don't even know how many split seconds, all these different sensations. Think about it to just drive. You're taking in visual sights, hearing, your hands are on the steering wheel, you're where your foot's on the pedal. And I mean, all these senses are operating together in order for you to drive. But what I'm talking about is when not in the mode of having to do something like that to keep you safe, you're aware of these individual sensations and not just sleepwalking through them. But you will have a reaction because I've still have reactions. You just let go. You're aware of what you reacted to. You're aware of what I became like when I reacted, I aware of what I had labeled good or bad. Instantly practiced treasured Jesus' advanced forgiveness seen through the form to the clear light of spirit they are. I love you. Christ, Buddha, God, I love you. And let go, let be. Don't beat yourself up because that's ego. And that's holding you in a fixed pattern. Just let go, let be. And it may take a few letting goes before that reaction is let go of. And also recognize that naturally, due to these six sensations, you will feel emotions, but you're awake and lucid to them. For example, I'm aware that I felt an emotion towards a person here in the condo group, and real quick, the emotion went to touch on anger and hate. Immediately, when I felt it and I saw what was happening. I let go. I pictured the image of the person and they vanished into the clear light. I saw them for their real reality, not for their actions. But see, I had an emotion of hate or anger, and that made me relate to Rob Reiner's son, where I visualized who allegedly killed his mom and dad, that he wrote a screenplay that his father produced a movie about a homeless person addicted to as many things you could be addicted to because it was representative of the son. The son wrote it about himself, and the father produced it, the movie. But the thing is, consider that relationship of a father and mother having a son that didn't complete high school or college, addicted to and many things that he could be addicted to. And they explained they practiced tough love on him. So that means they told him, you can't live here if you act that way. So he was homeless. But then he moves into their guest house. They reconcile, he moves in. But just picture when there's an argument with these three at that party on Saturday night, where Nick probably felt very unworthy, hopeless as an outsider, being ostracized from the group for acting crazy, and then probably being talked down to by his parents. Guess what? The five stages of anger. I don't mean to laugh, but dang, these habitual habit patterns of when you become angry. That's why I noticed I became angry and had a thought of hate towards this woman here at the condo. It's a natural occurrence. But in a person not awake and lucid to their emotions, real fast, anger goes to hate, goes to aggression, goes to violence, goes to rage. And in a moment, in a heartbeat, we've got a reaction which could result in somebody killing somebody. All because of reaction, reaction to outward sounds and things said, harsh words being said to a person. It is hugely significant to become aware of our emotions. And I learned through with Tibetan, this Buddhism, and due to meditation, I was not aware of my emotions. I had been denying and repressing my emotions. And that's how most people live their lives. We're not taught to breathe in and out of our emotions, to feel what we're feeling in the body, to breathe in and out of that particular body part that has pain or whatever. Letting go, letting be, letting come and go. This is hugely significant and healing to learn to do this. And why I realize I've learned to do it, I recognized yesterday I was expressing to our condo board, I used the words I feel to describe how I felt to this condo board about a certain item. I've never done that. But see why did the capital A awareness invent the physical world? It wanted to feel these feelings. It wanted to feel what it was like to be inside a body, experiencing sights, sounds in a physical form. So we want to become aware of how we feel within this body, letting the feelings, emotions come and go without attachment and aversion. But it takes practice, because those are habitual habit patterns down to our core level that evolve the emotions. So let's cover real fast the five. There's five five R's to practice in mindful anger management. Because when I was listening to that Rob Reiner killing, anger management came to mind to be shared. And I've given it out to y'all a couple of times, and I put it in this email, and it comes out of Lama Surya Das's book called The Big Questions: How to Find Your Own Answers to Life's Essential Mysteries. Again, that's called The Big Questions: How to Find Your Own. See, do I have that book here? No, it's sitting by my chair. How to Find Your Own Answers to Life's Essential Mysteries. Here's the five R's: to recognize, to practice, which result in mindful anger management and intentional responsiveness. What I'm trying to teach lately in the last month or two is to respond as needed, to not react, not come from knee-jerk reactions due to these habitual habits that we've stored in our unconscious mind. First one is recognizing. I'm going to quote, these are direct quotes. Well, first, though, here's the whole list. Recognizing, they're called five R's: recollecting, refraining, and restraining, relinquishing, reconditioning. Look at that word, reconditioning, and responding. Woo. Recognizing. Notice with equanimity a familiar stimulus that habitually pushes your hot buttons and triggers an unfulfilling retaliatory response, such as harsh words. Somebody's telling you making some harsh statements to you. Stop for a moment to breathe, reflect, and simply relax. Actively acknowledge and feel in your body the difficult internal feelings. I never did this before Tibetan Buddhism, before Dzogchen. Rather than suppressing or denying them or ignoring the discomfort, just being able and willing to accept that it's there can relieve some of anger's internal pressure. This definitely requires mindfulness and presence of mind, a form of conscious attention to the present moment. This continuous mindful practice can give us space for just experiencing anger as an energy, which has not yet become destructive, aggressive, or violent. Our Initially, anger is just an experience, a momentary energy. Our ego hasn't yet seized on it and reacted. No violence or aggression is directed outwardly or inwardly yet. Be in the present moment. Just be with it. These feelings, just be with them. Second, recollecting. With remindfulness, remember the downsides and disadvantages of returning hatred with hatred, anger with anger, harm with harm. Then recollect the upsides and advantages of practicing patience, forbearance, tolerance, and stoic acceptance of karma and its repercussions. Oh, and it comes to mind what happens due to when you practice suspending your attention within non dual awareness. What happens? You settle into this state of grace, where then your mind, you've opened for moments to this Buddha Christ mind that allows these thoughts, feelings, sensations to come and go. You're not producing any karma because you're naturally letting them all come and go. Oh, it's so healing, so freeing. This ultimately, you'll experience this. It's unbelievable. You're not producing any karma. You're just experiencing and enjoying your life and then these sensations, letting them come and go. See, he's saying here, let's see, what did he say here? Well, I don't know where a karma came to him when he was talking about this. This too shall pass. In this second step, find and mine the sacred pause. That's the gap between thoughts. Rest in it. Try to let go and let be for a short while at least. Third, refraining and restraining. Hold back your habitual negative reaction while trying to see things through the other's eyes. Cultivate feelings of genuine compassion for those who harm you, realizing that they are merely sowing the seeds of their own unhappiness and bad karma. To take it one step further, practice recognizing the adversary or critic as a teacher, a friend, an ally, helping you develop patience and overcome unconscious, habitual, and unproductive reaction patterns. The most difficult person, situation, or illness can become our greatest teacher, our greatest opportunity. Number 4, relinquishing. Give up habitual conditioned reactivity and let go of impulsive urges in favor of more consciously chosen intelligent responsiveness. Accept the fact that such urges arise rather than suppressing or indulging them. Just feel and let them be without acting on them. And you will find that sooner or later, they ultimately dissolve, especially if the habitual reaction is replaced by a different response. Number 5, that's my favorite, reconditioning and responding. Recall the entire situational dynamic you have now reviewed while refraining, relinquishing, and reflecting on how little it will matter in a few months and years. Let go of unwholesome reaction patterns and intentionally choose other desirable ways of responding appropriately, intelligently, consciously, and proactively rather than reactively. This is advanced practice and can prove tricky. In some cases, it may translate into doing nothing and others responding with equanimity. Ultimately, it means making wiser, more skillful decisions based on conscious awareness and experience. The Tao Te Ching in Stephen Mitchell's powerful rendering of it says, patient with both friends and enemies, you accord with the way things are. Compassionate toward yourself, you reconcile all beings in the world. These 5 mindful anger management steps are like cool, fresh breaths of mindful awareness. They can aerate claustrophobic hour or day, help us relax and let go, and release a great deal of built up negativity and stress amidst the tumultuous bumper car ride of modern living. This practice can profoundly free us from falling into all kinds of regrettable reactivity, as well as the inevitable, undesirable outcomes usually caused by impulsive, in kind retaliation to anger and harm, what is usually called giving tit for tat. Let's remember that following the harsh biblical instruction, an eye for an eye, can make us all blind. Mindful anger management. And within those 5 steps, look how often he talks about this reconditioning of habitual patterns. That's mainly what we're doing, to which removes these clouds or obscurations that veil your non-dual awareness and veil your Christ Buddha heart mind. The bottom line is keep practicing. No matter this dance of life, one moment you're asleep, caught up in some memory or story. Next moment you're aware of it and you're lucid and you're aware of what you're doing while you're doing it. Next moment you're asleep. Don't get discouraged, because remember in years and years and years ago, we never knew about that or aware that we were living in the future or the past, thinking about it in our mind while we're doing something. So it's miraculous to be aware of when you're asleep to the now moment, thinking about the future, the past, or in the moment, judging something good or bad in the present, judging something good or bad. You step into the fourth time, which is nowness awareness, the sacred pause, this clear light essence, your true nature. Just step into it. But you keep practicing. Do not give up. That's my my big wish for you. Don't stop practicing. All right, I'm looking at my notes. Capital. I think I pretty much covered. I think I'm pretty much covered. A final thing that comes to mind that's changing for me is due to this being able to be with this non-dual awareness, rest and be with it. I'm aware of thoughts where I'm guided to say something or do something. For example, I was at the health club, I think it was Sunday, and I was leaving the health club and I was standing outside waiting for traffic to pass to walk into the parking lot. And I saw there was a black woman pushing a shopping cart. She had stopped too. When traffic passed, then we both walked across into the parking lot. And the thought came to me to say to her something like, we gotta watch out what these cars are doing. But I didn't say it. I walked on, and then the thought came back, and now I'm pretty alert. I'm supposed to say that. So I turned to the woman and I said to her, gee, we got to be careful walking in the parking lot. and because I said something real fast about, because I'm aware sometimes when I'm driving that my mind's not in the car, that I'm thinking about something else. So those people driving in this parking lot, they could be thinking about something else and accidentally not see us, right? And she goes, "Oh yes, that's called mindfulness," she says to me. And then what ensued was an entire conversation about the clear light of spirit that she believes in and in practicing mindfulness. And at the end, we stood in the parking lot and had this conversation for over 5 minutes. And I said, why this is happening for me anyway, is for us to recognize there are more people like us out there than we realize. Because you can get stuck thinking, well, if this world is so damn crazy, there's no one thinking about holiness, openness, skylight nature of mind. But there is. But there is. That was one example. So I did what the mind said, and look what happened. I had that delightful conversation and united in mind with that woman. Second, real quick, one of our current one of our condo owners who's been on the board in the past decided to rejoin our condo board. But then, because she had brain surgery about 3 or 4 months ago, she realized she was going to go on the board as treasurer. But she realized that was too much work and effort. So she wrote an email. She felt like she needed to resign. Well, I sat with that in my chair in the living room, and it came to me to go talk to her to express to her she could still remain on the board and just vote on issues, but not take on a role of treasurer or secretary. So I did what I was told. I went to her condo and rang the bell and went in and talked to her about this. And she told me she would think about it. But later, when I was thinking about that, I realized, yeah, that's what people say when they're not going to do it. Oh, I'll think about it. So I thought, whatever. And then, don't you know, something came up where we were going to have a special board meeting, and one of the board members brought up something that she might know. So I went to her condo again to ask her about something. And it came to me to, for a second time, it came to mind for me to ask her about would she reconsider and just be on the board to vote. And then, do you know what came to my mind? What came to my mind was I was to say to her, I'm begging you, please stay on the board. We need you. I've never begged anyone for anything in my whole life. But when I heard that in my mind, I knew that was Holy Spirit. So I said to her, I'm not going to say her name, you know, I realize you're really intelligent. We need you on the board. I'm begging you, will you please just stay on the board and just vote, not take on a role? And that's how I left it with her. Long story short, I went to visit with another board member and came back to her condo and ended up talking with her, and this other gentleman joined. And this woman said she thought about that I had come to her 2 times to ask her about being on the board. And she realized that was Holy Spirit guiding her to be on the board. So she decided to do it. Now I wrote it a little different. It'll be in the email next week. But what I'm wanting to share is what happens. And I'm not foolish enough to think that I'm totally going to hear Holy Spirit. I totally know ego still talks, but what's cultivated here is a gut and intuition about which thoughts are guided by Christ, Buddha, nature, or Holy Spirit, and those that are ego. Then you're becoming, then in this awareness of unity, of union with everything and source, what comes then is the guidance from your higher Christ Buddha nature naturally opens to you, gets unveiled, is a side effect of all this. Ta-da. So, any thoughts or questions before I stop this recording? Okay, and Lynn's going to unmute. She's unmuting. I can't do it on my end. It's that audio. Let's see if I can do it. I don't think I can. No, it's asking me to ask you to unmute.
There you go.
Oh,
Am I
good, you
here?
did.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I liked one of the things you said. An eye for an eye leads to everyone being blind. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yes. You want me to
Really like
reread
that
that?
one.
Yeah. And that's in the Bible.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, that's tit for tat. So
Yeah.
somebody does something to me, I'm going to go do something to them.
Uh-huh. Right.
match it, right? We're becoming aware of that feeling or thought and not acting on it,
Hmm.
not getting entangled in it. It takes discipline.
Right. I really like that one. I wrote that down. I want to remember that.
Cool.
That's good. And I'm going to say
Yeah.
bye.
Okay,
And I'll
thank you,
talk
Lynn,
to
for
you soon. Okay.
oh,
Uh,
yes, thank you, Lynn, for coming out. Thank you so
okay.
much.
Love
Okay,
you. Bye
love
bye.
you. Bye. Before I stop the recording, let's look at each person on the tiles and think of them as their true nature, Christ, Buddha, God. So Christ, Buddha, Lynn that just left, Christ, Buddha, God, Angela, Christ, Buddha, God, Ed, Christ, Buddha, God, Chaz, Christ, Buddha, God, Leon, Christ, Buddha, God, D that needed to leave, Christ, Buddha, God, Debbie, and all those in our Sangha. And we're sending when we had a beginning prayer, we're sending out relaxing, sending out healing to Australia, all the areas where we're having the shootings and the disruptions and the wars, and sending light and love out to all those areas, all those that are suffering and unhappy, wishing well, wishing all sentient beings well. May they find peace and happiness. May there be an end to war, poverty, oppression, inequality. May we all together complete the spiritual journey, one family, one circle, all the way home. Amen. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you all for coming out. It's super, super, super helpful. And your energies, your light love energies spreads among our group, our Sangha group, and it helps in all our healings and letting go of these thoughts, feelings, and perceptions and judgments we've stored in our unconscious mind and in our heart and our conscious mind. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and I love each of you so much. Oh.